morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and today's shout out goes to Biotch Vanyuk 6640. Biotch was first to say first in one of my recent videos, and thus wins this shout out, so congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I have something really neat for you today, folks. This is Snake Plisskin's Gullfire that he flew over Leningrad and landed on the World Trade Center with. No. Of course not. This is the Volantex Ranger 600 Stunt. Now, 6 years ago, I reviewed the original Ranger 600, which was an excellent beginner's plane, folks. The original Ranger 600. It was a three-channel version of this, three-channel plane. But since then, Volantex has gone to the drawing board again and greatly updated what we got here today with the Ranger 600 Stunt. It's now four-channel, folks. It has aileron control, okay? The original Ranger did not have that. Ranger 600 did not have that, but now we do. And that enables us to do things that the original Ranger 600 could not do, like rolls, okay, aileron rolls. This supposedly can do it. We'll actually see when we get out in the field and try it out. It's a very good looking aircraft, you know. I like this black color. You know, again, it does look it gives you the impression of Snake Plisskin's plane. So those of you that have seen Escape from New York would recognize this plane or recognize something similar to this. Now, it weighs only 50 grams, folks. That means this does not require registration in most countries, okay? Nor does it require remote ID to fly this thing in most countries. It's still a beginner's airplane. The Ranger 600 was one of the best beginner's planes to learn to fly. I got a feeling this one's going to be even better because it also has the stabilization system that the original 600 has, okay? Gyro and accelerometer stabilization to make it very easy for beginner pilots to fly. Again, I mentioned it's a true four-channel airplane. That means we have throttle control, we have aileron control, like I mentioned here, we have elevator control, and we have rudder control on the aircraft. So true four-channel controls on this airplane. Now, it's constructible. It's constructed of flexible and crash-resistant EPP foam, so it should be able to take a beating by those beginner pilots. But as I always recommend, folks, especially beginners, try to fly your airplane in an open grassy field. Don't fly it over concrete or asphalt. Concrete or asphalt and foam do not go together well, okay? Even though it's crash resistant, you might have some problems crashing into hardened surfaces like that. So I always recommend a grassy field or at a minimum a dirt field, okay? Don't go flying over concrete if you're a beginner or asphalt. Okay, it has plenty of power from this airplane. It has a 1020 brushed motor. This is a brushed motor. However, you know, as with the Volantex Warbird series, this 1020 brush motor is pretty darn dependable and also pretty darn powerful. Okay, it should last you a good long time before requiring replacement. And if it does, it should be easily replaceable by just pulling it out of there. Other things about it, it comes with two spare propellers. So if you ding up that propeller, you have two spares. Now, the only way I can see you digging up this propeller, if somehow you crash land on concrete upside down. I don't see that happening with this 6-axis stabilization unless you're flying in expert mode. And maybe that is a possibility in that case. Now, I mentioned expert mode. It has 3 selectable flight modes. Let's go over this controller real quick. The flight modes are selected through this switch up here. All the way forward like this is beginner mode. Beginner mode prevents the aircraft, it gives the aircraft angle restrictions. It prevents it from exceeding certain bank angles or exceeding pitch angles to prevent the aircraft from going inverted with that gyro stabilization. Makes it very easy for beginner pilots to fly. And especially if you do get into trouble where you're headed to the ground, just let go of this right stick. And the aircraft will quickly and automatically level itself like so to prevent a crash. So that's pretty cool in that respect. Now, if you put it to center position like so, that's called mid position. Now, in mid position, that turns off the pitch angle restrictions. In that case, it enables you to actually do manual loops with the aircraft. You know, loops where it goes up inverted and it comes back down like that. And to do such when you're in mid position is just pull the stick all the way back and give it some throttle, and it'll do such. It's still stabilized. So if you do get into trouble while you're inverted and you go, oh no, I don't want to do this, just let go of the stick. And again, this will automatically right itself in mid position. Now this has a third position, expert position, that you select by going all the way back. And that turns off all that stabilization, okay? You're flying manually with the sticks. Now, the Warbird series, if you fly an expert with a Warbird series, they're very difficult to fly, those little things. But this might actually be suitable for beginner pilots to learn to fly in expert mode. The original Ranger 600 was very stable, okay, because it has some dihedral there on the wings to provide automatic leveling of the aircraft. If you let go, it'll slowly but surely level itself. This particular design of aircraft, it is again a beginner's style aircraft with some dihedral to help beginner pilots learn to fly in expert mode. So I'm going to try to demonstrate that when we go flying here out in the field. I'm going to try to actually put it in expert mode and see if we can actually do some manual flying with this particular aircraft. Let's see, other things about it that this has that the original R600 did not have is this acrobatic stunt button. Now this, you can be in beginner mode or mid mode, and I'm not sure, maybe even expert mode. But if you press this button while in flight and you move the stick to the left like so or right like so, the aircraft will automatically do a aileron roll. If you press this button while it's in flight and pull back on the stick momentarily like so, the aircraft will automatically do a loop. So that's cool in itself for beginner pilots. Additionally, before you even take off, you're on the ground and you're getting ready to throw the aircraft before you give it throttle. Press this button, you'll hear some beeping, and then give it some throttle and toss it, and the aircraft will automatically climb. And then when it reaches a certain altitude, depending on how much throttle you're giving it, it'll go into a steady circle in the sky until you press or move this right stick, and then you're manually flying it. So that's cool too. That prevents you from crashing into the ground if you're doing a poor job of throwing the aircraft. If you use this automatic takeoff button, that should help you prevent takeoff crashes from the aircraft from a poor throw. And I do that all the time, folks. I always throw my airplanes into the ground. But with that button there, that should prevent that entirely. So that's neat too. Now it also has auto one key return. Now what is that? When you're on the ground, before you take off, point the aircraft down the field in the general direction where you'll be flying. Say you'll be flying in that direction. Point the aircraft like that. And with the aircraft bound to the plane, before you actually move the stick up and down to arm the motors, move this throttle trim, which is not a throttle trim, it's set trim. What this does, when you push up on this, the aircraft will remember that direction as being your flying direction. Now, when you're down flying in that area, downfield, if you want it to come back home to you in your general direction, push down on this and the aircraft will turn around automatically and fly back toward you. Now, this only works if you keep the aircraft downfield in that direction that it was pointed at takeoff or while it was on the ground. If you're off to the left or off to the right or behind you, you press this button down like this, the aircraft might actually fly away from you. So this is not a true return to home. It's called one key return, and all it does is fly the exact opposite direction it was pointed when you pushed up on the stick while it was sitting on the ground. So that's what one key return does. Okay. Other things about it, it's a very efficient flyer. It is a glider. Using these 3.7 volt, 400 milliamp hour batteries, it's predicted to give the airplane about 14 minutes of flight time. That is believable. Most of the Volantex aircraft do fly for 14 minutes, so we will see when we take it out into the field. So let's go over what you get in the box. Of course, you get the aircraft. Actually, I did not pop open the battery bay. This is your battery bay. You lift up from the front. That's where you install the battery there. You can see the aileron servos right there. They're located right there. And actually, no, that's not the aileron. One's the rudder servo, which is that one, and one is the elevator servo, which is that one. And the aileron servo is somewhere right in here, running the cross brace that runs the ailerons. So, where is it? I'm looking for it. Not seeing it, but I'm sure it's in there. Oh, there it is. You got to turn it sideways to see it under the wing. So I forgot to also mention, this comes fully constructed. There's nothing you need to do other than charge up the batteries, put some batteries in the transmitter, and you're ready to go to fly this particular aircraft. That makes it really nice. But one problem about it is that the box is humongous. Wait a minute, let's see if this box will even show up in this. Which means that I got a feeling that the shipping charges might be a little bit high for this particular aircraft. I don't know. We'll see when this actually gets released. I think it's just been released here, so we'll see what the shipping charges on that are. But if they are high, that's why, because it's ready to go out of the box. So, okay, again, let's go. What you get in the box? You get the aircraft. You get one or two, or actually, you get 2 or 3 batteries. Spare batteries. I recommend going for the 3 battery version. These are only about $2 each to add on an additional battery, so go with the 3 battery version. Since this is a brush motor, though, I recommend giving it about 15 minutes flight time between flights, or 15 minutes rest time between flights to help prevent or preserve durability of that motor. Let it cool down between flights, okay, is what I'm saying. Again, you get 2 spare props. You get the battery charger for it. You get the bound and ready to fly transmitter that goes with this aircraft. And you get the instruction manual, which is a good instruction manual. I recommend you read it before you fly. So that's the Ranger 600 Sport V761-02SR Sport model or Stunt model, either way. So great looking airplane. Let's take it out in the field, folks, and see how it flies. Hope you enjoy these flights. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and welcome to the test flight of the Ranger 600 Sport, or Stunt, either way. Okay, I already have this connected. The way I do that is I plugged in the battery first in the plane, and then turned on the transmitter within 3 seconds. You're supposed to do that to bind it. And the surfaces seem to be working properly. But before we take off, we need to set that 1-key return. And I'm going to be flying down in that direction, folks, in the field. So I want to point the drone in that direction and put it on the ground in the direction that I'll be flying, and then with the throttle stick all the way down, push up, and that push up and hold it till you hear a beep. Okay, and that is set the 1-key return direction in that general direction there. So when I want to activate it, all I need to do is pull down on that button and it should fly back toward me. Okay, for takeoff, we are going to use the automatic takeoff. Now the wind's coming from my back, and it's pretty good wind too today. It seems to be about 5 to 7 miles per hour. So we need to press this button here, and it's waiting for me to give it throttle. And then you give it throttle. Actually, you got to arm it. Let's do that again. Okay, the motor is armed now, and I did that by moving the throttle full up and down, giving it throttle. And that did not do an automatic takeoff, folks. Okay, maybe I got to give this some upward trim. Let's try that again. Hold on, let's push that down. Let's try that auto takeoff again. I'm going to pull back on the stick this time, and making sure I'm a beginner. Pulling back on the stick to keep it in the air. Now, if I let go of the stick, it's going downward. I'm in beginner rate right now, and I'm full back on the stick. So this needs to be trimmed upward. Let's try that. There we go. I gave it some upward trim, and that fixed it. Okay, we're in beginner rate. Let's try that auto takeoff again, because I had the control surfaces were not properly set. So let's land it and try auto takeoff one more time with the trim set on this. Okay, I should have checked the back control surface, folks. It was obviously a little bit downward. Let's try that again. Auto takeoff, throttle up. Let's see what it does. And it goes into those circles. Now it's going to keep on circling until I take over with the right stick. Okay, now I got control of it. So that's what it does, folks. Now we're in beginner mode. Let's go up a little bit higher and try one of these stunts. Aileron roll. Whoa, it did that really nicely, folks.
Surprised. How about going downwind? Aileron roll. Well, no, it doesn't do a downwind. Coming upwind. Loop. Yep, I didn't have enough speed to complete the loop, obviously. Let's try it again, coming upwind. Throttling up. Loop. There you go. And a loop. It did a loop in that wind. Now, it is windy. This is another day the weatherman predicted 2-mile-per-hour wind, and we come out here, it's about 7 to 10. So it's a breezy day. But that's okay. We can fly. This has stabilization system, so we can fly it on this breezy day. Let's go to a mid position. In mid position, we got a lot more bank angle on this thing. Let's bring it down closer here. Boy, it's bouncing around in that wind. Nice plane though. It looks really nice up there, folks. Let's bring it down real low though. This thing flies slow, so we can bring it down low, I'm hoping. But look at it bounce around in the wind. So I was hoping to fly this manually today, but I don't know if that's possible with this wind. We'll try that a little later though. Right now I'm just demonstrating what you can do here in mid mode. We're in mid mode right now. I think I am. Yeah, I am. Let's see if I can do a loop. Loop. I'm trying to do a loop, folks, but it doesn't want to do the loop. How about it? Hard turns. Look at those bank angles this thing can make. Let's come down here and do that. Come down lower. But boy, it glides nicely. It is a glider, so it better glide nicely. But I want to show you up close. Come closer, come closer. Just want to do these. Going around myself. Okay, we haven't demonstrated one key return. Okay, going back to beginner. We're going right over there, downfield, and one key return. This is one key return, folks. There it is. Flying back in our general direction. Now that's only because we were flying downfield. Okay, if that was behind me or to the left or the right, it would fly away from me. But let's try one key return one more time. Pulling back on the button. And see, we're off to the left here. So it goes by off to the left. So again, you know, if it's behind you or left or right of you, one key return can possibly fly away from you. Okay, well, we still got some battery power on it. Let's go around and try an aileron roll real low. Look at that, it does that nicely. It knows that it's close to it, or it maintains level flight. Or tries to maintain level flight. Boy, that does aileron rolls nicely. Loops, not so much. I don't think there's as much authority on the elevator to enable you to do big loops, because in mid position it wouldn't do that for me. And again, it might be the wind today too. Nice plane. Yeah, beginners should have no problem at all flying this in beginner rate, which I am right now, and I'm flying in. Let's come down lower. I'm getting dizzy. Okay, let's do some figure eights. Show it doing figure eights. Lower, lower, lower. So, nice plane for beginners. Excellent plane, actually, for beginners. I recommend this one, folks. If you want to learn to fly 4-channel, you want to step it up from those little 2-channel planes you've been flying, this would be a good one. With the aileron control, and see what it can do. Nice plane. Now I wish the wind was coming from my face right now, because we could do some slope soaring, but the wind is in my back today, coming over the trees, and it's turbulent since it's coming over the trees behind me. We got some turbulent wind. So no slope soaring today. But okay, going back up again a little bit, speeding it up a bit. Aileron rolls. Aileron roll. Toward me. Let's do that again. Coming toward me. Cool that it can do those. Cool. Let's try a loop going diagonal with the wind. Ah, no. Just doesn't have the oomph to do a loop. And, you know, you can fix that by adjusting the elevator, moving the pitch horn connection closer to the elevator, and that'll give you more authority. But right now, the way it is, out of the box, the doing loops is a little bit iffy. It just doesn't have the oomph. Maybe if I go to mid position. Let me try it in mid position. Give it some speed. Oh, no. Nope, doesn't have it. And that was in mid position. So loops out of the box, doesn't do them. Aileron rolls does them real well. No more, ain't doing any more aileron rolls right now. But, so let's go up a bit higher. I'm even needing to give it more and more throttle, so that battery might be getting a little low. But going up a bit higher. Expert. I'm flying an expert right now. I want to see. Now this doesn't bounce around like the, actually you can fly this one in expert mode. It doesn't bounce around like the warbirds, okay? As bad as the warbirds. I'm flying an expert right now, but it's doing things well. And coming back to beginner, bringing it back. I'm just coming down real slow. Gliding. Let's see this thing glide. That's gliding, folks. Does a good job gliding. Makes a nice glider. So for those of you who have little hills that you can fly on, little slopes, sloping hills, this would be a good slope soarer. I'm giving more and more throttle though, folks. So yeah, that battery's getting low. I'm just curious, do we have LVC warning? Or is it going to cut off power? I'm full throttle right now. I'm not sure there is LVC on this. I better think about landing here shortly. Oh, there we go. It just cuts off. So now we're gliding in. The motor's cut off. And that's its flight time. Nice, smooth glide in. It flies real nice. Not as much flight time as you get with the warbirds, but still respectable. Okay, let me swap batteries. We'll switch to the, what do you call it? T-Light multi-protocol transmitter and see how it flies with that. So hold on, folks, while I do that. Okay, I have it connected to the T-Light here, but, I have control of the surfaces, as you can see here, and down and up and left and right, but I cannot arm the motors, okay? I go full up and full down, and that normally would arm the motor. But in this case, for this particular aircraft, there seems to be something more that I need to do, okay? The way I have this set up, it works with Warbird series, all of the Warbird series by T-Light here. But for some reason with the Ranger 600, I'm not able to arm it right now. I'm going to mess around with it. I'm going to mess around with it at home to see if I can get it to work. But if I do figure this out, I'll let you guys know. But right now, with my T-Light here, I am not able to arm the motor on this. So we're going to have to figure that one out, folks. Probably on RC group, somebody will figure it out. But I'm going to give it a try too. So unfortunately, I will not be able to demonstrate flying with the jumper today. So in that case, let's turn this off and go one more flight. Let's see, one more flight with the stock transmitter, since I got this second battery. And this thing doesn't fly as long as normal. We're not going to worry about, okay, I'm going to rebind it. I have to unplug it and rebind it, but we're going to finish out the battery using the stock transmitter. So hold on, folks. Okay, we're back in beginner mode with the stock transmitter. One key takeoff, throttling up, arming the motor actually, throttling up. And again, I need to probably adjust that again. Let's see here. See, like I said, I always crash and I do this a lot. Okay, I'm not going to trust that one key takeoff. This time I'm going to pull back on the stick. And yeah, I need some upward trim. I can see right away. There we go. A little more. Let's fly it slow. Okay, for this part of the flight, we're going to fly it like a glider. Nice and gentle. Gentle flying. Beginner style flying. Let's bring it down. Throttle is off. Boy, this thing glides nicely. You expect it to, don't you? It is a glider. Okay, going downwind. Bringing it closer, closer, closer. Nice and slow flight. Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't able to demonstrate the T-Light. It needs some tweaks, obviously, to figure that one out. Yeah, this one is slightly different, something slightly different on this one as compared to the Warbirds. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure the RC community will figure it out. I'm going to try too, but I'm not the best at figuring things out on the T-Light, other than the basic setup. I like gliding this thing. Yeah, these pusher gliders, I like them a lot. The other gliders, there's nose cone gliders that have the props on the nose. Those, I don't recommend those for beginners. And the reason being, beginners nose in a lot, and so do I. So when you nose in, you can destroy the motor and the props. It's much more durable to have it on the back as a pusher. Now, it's not as efficient. That's the bad thing about having a pusher. It's not as efficient as a puller prop, because you got some dragging, or you got some things in the way of the airflow before it gets to the prop. But in terms of durability, yeah, that's what you want to go with for a beginner. And this is one of the best beginners I've seen lately, this particular aircraft. Now, it's not cheap, and let's talk about that, the price of this. It's got free shipping, but that free shipping has or the price of this has the shipping cost already incurred into it because that big box that it comes in. Okay, again, this thing's fully assembled, ready to go out of the box with the exception of plugging in batteries, you know, charging and plugging in batteries. But you pay for that in terms of the cost of it. It's not really free shipping is what I'm trying to say, folks. Yeah, it's embedded within the cost of the plane. Nice little plane. Okay, you know what? The wind's died down a bit. Let's go up a little bit higher, tad bit higher, and I'm going to manual. Coming out of that, the wind is, you know, this one here is also a little bit too light to fly on breezy days like today in manual mode like the warbirds. So I gave it a try. Let's go up again. I'll give it another try. The wind's dying down again. Okay, I'm in manual. Ain't doing the stunts for me today because of the wind. I'm just struggling just to keep it steady in the wind, but it's doing it. It's flying in manual with the stock transmitter. And pulling back on the stick, and there you go. Or pulling back on the switch back to beginner rate. So when you get into trouble, just let go of the sticks and go back to beginner rate. Okay, come down lower here. And we'll finish the flight low. Nice gliding. Yeah, those stabilization systems, again, they are a godsend for beginner pilots. They really make these easy to fly as compared to years ago. They did come out about 15, I'm guessing about 15 years ago. Stabilization systems, and boy, were they expensive. But nowadays, just about every plane's got them, or every beginner plane. Standard equipment, or standard included in it. Even little two-channel planes, two-channel differential thrust planes got stabilization systems in them these days, which is pretty amazing that they could do that. Zoom, 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 zoom. Go the other way around me. Let's get me real dizzy. Let's go clockwise now. Clockwise going around me. Nice little plane. Nice beginners learn to fly plane. I like it. I like it, folks. If you're a beginner, I recommend this one for you. Again, fly it in grassy fields if you're a beginner, like I'm doing right here. Makes it much, much durable to crashes. You know, the EPP is durable, but again, if you're flying on concrete, forget it. All bets go out the window with that. Smack into the concrete, it's almost guaranteed to break foam planes or asphalt. But grassy fields are forgiving. That's why I like to come out here to this particular park. Nice big grassy field for me to fly in. Either drones or planes. You crack them up, I'm usually able to keep on flying. Okay, let's go back up and try some auto stunts. goes the roll, the auto roll. Won't do a left roll. Let's do a right roll. It did it. How about coming toward me? I didn't want to do it going into the wind. Okay, cutting off the throttle there. And just looping it around. So what have we learned today with this flight? We learned it does great rolls, auto rolls. We learned that I could not get it to work with my T-light properly. We learned there's no beeping telemetry. I thought there would be, but it's not included with this particular plane. For low battery, it just cuts off and then goes into a glide, but a controlled glide, so you got that. What else have we learned? Oh no, great beginner's plane. It still bounces around in the wind because it's only 50 grams. So I was hoping that, you know, it's a larger plane, but it's still light, still very light. Still bounces around in the wind. You know, Volantex, what you need to do is to, for your expert mode, include stabilization against the wind. Okay, for wind gusts, turn off the angle restrictions that you get in beginner mode, and that would greatly help. You know, if you just turn off the angle restrictions, but keep on stabilization for wind gusts. And that would make these planes flyable in expert mode, or manual mode, if we call that manual. But that would make it the next improvement I would recommend you consider, Volantex, if you're listening. Sometimes they do listen. So yeah, I say these things out loud, but developers actually watch these videos, okay, of these companies. Some of them do. And some of the things I've mentioned in my videos, you know, recommendations, actually got incorporated. Actually get incorporated on planes. I don't know why. Sometimes people hear what I say. But yeah, fun beginner plane. Okay, we're getting low on throttle now. It's almost dead. I'm full throttle right now. We're gonna call it quit here. Full throttle, it's coming in for a landing. So that's what happens, folks. You'll notice a big drop-off, a real quick drop-off in throttle control. It's time to land. So when that happens, that's the flight of the Ranger 600 Stunt, Ranger 600 Sport, whatever, V761-2 SR. So hope you enjoyed this flight. It's fun plane to fly. Highly recommended for beginner pilots if you're interested in getting into airplanes. This is a good one to start with. So hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101 signing out. Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.